Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Danelle. Today we're going to look at the overall macro picture of what's going on in the cryptocurrency market, particularly with Bitcoin, Ethereum, some of the other top cryptocurrencies, and all the news that has been coming in with regards to ETFs and institutions looking to finally get into the cryptocurrency space, what it means for us as retail traders, and what we can see could happen in the future with regards to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency moving forward. So let's go ahead and start as usual with the market update. As you can see, Bitcoin is currently trading at $30,455. It is up 15% over the last 7 days. A lot of that on the heels of the announcement that BlackRock, which we discussed in our last video, which is the largest asset manager in the world. It currently has over $10 trillion of assets under management. They recently filed for a Bitcoin spot ETF. If you want to learn a little bit more about what spot ETFs are, you can go back to our last video. We discussed what that is. Basically, an instrument, a financial instrument that could be traded on the marketplace of traditional finance, and that would obviously give institutions, large whales, as they are also known as, access to Bitcoin without actually having to custody themselves, but it follows the Bitcoin pricing. That's why it's called spot, meaning that it's being traded on the spot. So you have Bitcoin currently trading at over $30,400 with a 15+% bump over the last 7 days. You have Ethereum also doing very well, up nearly 10% over the last 7 days. You're currently trading at $1,895. Then you see the other top 10 coins are also up over the last 7 days. You see Cardano, which took a pretty big dip, is now up to 29 cents, trying to creep back up to that 30-cent level, which it had been trading at for most of the year in that 25 to 30 cent range. It's now up over 11% over the last 7 days. Dogecoin, once again, is still in the top 10. The top meme coin in the cryptocurrency space is currently trading at 6 cents, up 8% over the last 7 days. Solana has been up on a little bit of a roller coaster, particularly over the last several months, and it is trading at nearly $17, trading at 9.47% over the last 7 days. So if we go and look at the Bitcoin price, as you can see here, it was just at around $25,000 just a little over 10 days ago, and just over these last 10 to 11 days, it is up over 20% at 21.6%. So the news of BlackRock, basically the biggest institution looking to get into the cryptocurrency space. Actually, they've already been in the cryptocurrency space for a little while now, but now looking to file for an ETF, which will provide their institutional clients, which basically means bigger banks, pension funds, hedge funds, other major wealth managers that want to get into the cryptocurrency space now could have access to it using traditional financial tools with this spot ETF. So we are yet to see whether or not it is going to be approved. But from what we've heard, BlackRock has a stellar record when it comes to applying for ETFs. They've only lost one ETF out of all of the filings, and they've made hundreds of filings with the SEC, and they've only had one application rejected. So will this Bitcoin ETF be the next one that is rejected, or will we actually see the very first Bitcoin ETF accepted in the United States by the Securities and Exchange Commission? Another big news event over the past week is that Wall Street giants back EDX Markets. EDX Markets is a cryptocurrency exchange that is backed by some of the biggest names, just like BlackRock, in the financial services realm. You see that it is backed by large financial institutions such as Citadel Securities. You may have heard of Citadel during the GameStop saga. They were involved when there were a ton of institutional shorts against GameStop. Citadel came in and helped one of the hedge funds, Melvin Capital, which was in a lot of trouble because they had heavily shorted GameStop and had lost a lot of money once GameStop and its stock had gone up and started killing all of these shorts, which was called a short squeeze. So Citadel came in as Melvin Capital's savior during that time. So they have a ton of capital and manage a ton of money, as well as Fidelity, which many of us know is a major investment platform. They have trillions of dollars in assets under management as well. And Charles Schwab also is a very large asset manager, and they are all backing this EDX market. And as you can see here, EDX markets is a newcomer to the cryptocurrency exchange landscape. And you see the notable institutions that are backing this cryptocurrency exchange. And currently they are supporting the trading of only 4 cryptocurrencies. And these 4 cryptocurrencies were not named in the SEC lawsuits against Coinbase and Binance. So they are currently just going with the safe bets right now. And that is, of course, Bitcoin being one of them, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. Right now, the EDX market platform is currently only available to institutional traders. So this was also another reason why the cryptocurrency market saw a bump up, is because we're starting to see that these institutions are now positioning themselves to get involved into the cryptocurrency market and take advantage of Bitcoin and some of the cryptocurrencies and what they have done over the last several years. Because if you look at the Bitcoin charts, still against the US dollar, Bitcoin has massively outperformed the US dollar as well as the S&P 500. So now the institutions are seeing, after what has been 13 plus years of Bitcoin and what it's done in the market, it's seeing how well it's done over these last several years. And so now they want a piece of the pie. Not surprising. So what do you need to know about crypto investing as regulators are weighing in on the first spot Bitcoin exchange traded fund? We talked about BlackRock, which is the largest asset manager, looking to get a spot Bitcoin ETF. But now we're seeing that other big names as well this past week are also applying for a spot ETF as well. So you see companies such as BlackRock, Wisdom Tree, and Valkyrie. Those two are investment firms that also have a large amount of money invested into the just market as a whole. As you can see, if you go to our Instagram at Networkchain, we talk about and we bring you daily news with regards to NFTs and cryptocurrencies and emerging markets. And as you can see here, one of our latest posts, we talk about some of the different institutions that are consistently looking to get into the cryptocurrency market. Deutsche Bank, which is, I believe, the largest bank in Germany, just recently applied for a crypto license within the country, and they have over $1 trillion under management. Invesco, they also applied for a Bitcoin ETF. They have over $1.5 trillion of assets under management. As we just mentioned, Wisdom Tree has $87 billion in assets under management. So we see here that there are a number of institutions that are now choosing to try to apply for these Bitcoin ETFs. So what's crazy is that we are already able to invest in Bitcoin futures ETFs, and it's actually a more risky financial instrument than a spot ETF. So the fact that the SEC had already approved Bitcoin futures ETFs, which basically is investing in, as you can see here, futures contracts. So it's agreements to buy or sell the asset later for an agreed upon price. So it's kind of similar, if you are familiar with derivatives at all in the traditional marketplace, like options, it's similar to that, where you're trying to buy contracts based on what people believe the Bitcoin price is going to be in the future. So you're trying to buy contracts for what Bitcoin may be in the future, and you're trying to hopefully predict and get into a contract where you could buy Bitcoin at a lower price than what it may actually be further on down the line, depending on when that futures contract expires. So that's already something that people can trade currently on the CBOE, which is the Chicago Board Options Exchange. And now people are looking to hopefully get this spot Bitcoin ETF, but it's still a risky investment. Just generally speaking, anything related to cryptocurrencies is still very risky because as we know, cryptocurrencies is still only a $1 trillion market cap as a whole, and that's including 25, which is crazy, 25,000 cryptocurrencies, and Bitcoin currently is at a market cap of just over 500 billion at 590 billion currently. So we're looking to see if we can get back to that level at around 60,000 plus, which would put us at a level of $1 trillion, which still is not even a tenth of the market cap of gold, which gold currently is at around a $10 trillion market cap. So if you compare Bitcoin to gold, and many people consider Bitcoin to be digital gold, consider it to be a much better form of a store of value because of the fact that it's easily transactable on the internet. You don't need to have gold bars that you're trying to store and lock up. You can use it on the internet. It's easily transacting using the internet quickly within seconds and minutes. You can transfer from one party to another. And it also is traceable using the secure blockchain. So there's a lot of advantages to having Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin even got to half of what gold's market cap is, then Bitcoin can have a $500,000 price and potentially go higher than that. So that's why you start to hear some prognosticators talk about Bitcoin potentially being $1 million one day. That obviously remains to be seen. There's a long way to go. But if you start to see that these institutions are getting into Bitcoin, then there is likelihood that Bitcoin will continue to see an increase in price. Because basically, retail traders, for the most part, has taken the cryptocurrency market to $1 trillion. There are not a lot of institutions that have bought into Bitcoin. If we go here to the public companies that own Bitcoin, it's a fairly small list. MicroStrategy, many of you who have followed Bitcoin have heard of Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy. They hold the largest amount of Bitcoin, currently closing in on nearly 1% of the total supply ever of Bitcoin, which is 21 million. They currently own 0.667 of 1%, and they currently own over 140,000 Bitcoin. Next is Voyager Digital, and they unfortunately had to file for bankruptcy after having exposure of over $600 million to Three Arrows Capital, which was a crypto hedge fund that went under due to the Terra Luna collapse. And we have some videos on that if you want to go back to hear about what happened in 2022 during that collapse. Marathon Digital, which is a mining company, they actually have seen a bump up in their price. They're a publicly traded company, and they are doing well because of the bump in Bitcoin over this past week. They own over 12,000 Bitcoin, and that is and counting as they are continuing to mine Bitcoin. They're one of the largest Bitcoin miners in the world. Tesla, they sold off a large portion of their Bitcoin that they bought in, I believe it was 2021, and they now own 10,000 Bitcoin, and it looks like they're probably going to hold on to that for a while. As you can see, that value is over $300 million. And then if you keep on going, you see Coinbase, Hut 8 is another mining company. Block, also known as Square, owns over 8,000. They've been in Bitcoin, and their CEO and founder, Jack Dorsey, is a huge proponent of Bitcoin. Riot Platforms is another mining company. So you can see here, these are some of the institutions and public companies that are owning Bitcoin, but this is a very small list. So if we start to see BlackRock and Charles Schwab and Fidelity and Invesco, some of these other larger investment firms, pension funds, and other banks get into Bitcoin, then that definitely will then start to see Bitcoin rise in price, because as we know, Bitcoin is hard money. There is only a finite supply. There's no money printer. There's no one that can turn on the Burr machine to bring on more Bitcoins. It's just not going to happen. So that means that there's a limited supply. And when there becomes increased demand from these institutional investors, from these millionaires, from these billionaires who want to store value in Bitcoin, that's when we're going to see Bitcoin skyrocket. So make sure that you stay tuned right here at Networkchain. We make sure that we try to post daily on Instagram as well as Twitter with the latest news. And of course, we're going to continue to bring you our weekly videos here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you, and we look forward to connecting with you on the network chain sooner than later. In the meantime, take care. Bye-bye.